To this Belly Up media production. Some said we'd go belly up, so we made it our name. And we're still here.
The following announcement has been paid for by the Scoreboard Addicts podcast.
Whoops. Here we are. Welcome and happy Monday. I'll eventually get this thing down.
That's a rib on
it
us.
Is. Yeah, it is. I'm like ribbing ourselves. It is Monday, August 22nd. It is a very, very positive and happy day. I will not go into detail why. That's for another show, and it's another episode. If you are a listener to the Scoreboard Addicts podcast, you'll get what I'm saying. But anyway, it's Monday, and I'm Matt. This is Sal, and we are the Rasslin Addicts. And Sal, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's a newsworthy day. We got a lot to talk about, and even something to talk about right off the start. Like a half hour maybe ago? We got this news. Road Dogg has taken over Double J's spot as senior vice president of live events, and Double J's out and Road Dogg is in. What do you think about that?
Oh, you didn't know? You know what?
The roadie's back.
I like it. I don't have an issue with Road Dogg.
Me either.
As you know what? So like it's different now, because even if Road Dogg was there when Vince was there, I feel like these guys like Sean, who's now running NXT creatively, Road Dogg is back for live events.
By senior vice president of live events.
Senior vice president for live events. And it's like, you know, Triple H is bringing in his guys that aren't like stooges that will like yes him to death. I feel like that they would, you know, give him back honest opinion on how they like things. And I feel like that's what he surrounded himself with. I mean, all he needs is X-Pac and Billy Gunn, and then you got DX running. You pretty
what
much
would
have
X-Pac run?
DX
what
running.
Are you going to give X-Pac to run? Oh my
catering.
God. Yeah, maybe catering or something else, but I don't know. Yeah, you know what? I like bringing Road Dogg. I know some people on Twitter aren't thrilled that he's coming back, which I don't really understand why. I guess it's because Road Dogg's kind of been vocal on Twitter. You know, he's been bashing some people on his podcast and on his Twitter account, but like, who cares? Like, really? Are we really going to be worried about that? Like, who cares?
I've learned since doing this show that there are many different kinds of wrestling fans, and the Twitter wrestling fans are the absolute worst of them all. They are.
It can be a bit much. It really can.
Twitter is a toxic platform to begin with.
It's very toxic. Yep.
And then you add the wrestling part of it, because you have these people who don't they can't really separate that it's not
right.
You know, that it's all scripted or whatever. And you know, like a couple of months ago, Kat Dennings from Two Broke Girls, Thor, and
Right.
40-Year-Old Virgin. She tweeted out because she was watching SummerSlam that a month ago then, and then she's like, I think I love WWE.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then people commented you should be watching New Japan or AEW.
Yeah.
Don't-
I'm sure she knows.
like
I'm sure she knows what channel New Japan's on.
I know, and I don't know his name off the top of my head, but Cardi B tweeted out that I guess because last night and this is something I wanted to talk about, but I just always forget to watch it because it's on so late. But the WWE on A&E last night, they had
Right.
I think they did the Edge documentary.
Yes, and I haven't watched it yet, but I heard it was very good.
And then they did the Rivals of him and Cena.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Cardi B was watching it, and she said that she used to love them growing up.
Yeah.
And then there's a guy, Jeremy something Padawar. He has a blue check. He's like verified. I think he does something with the toy line. But he just he tweets out AEW Heart and like Toyetta. It's just why can't someone just say that they like something? Why does it always have to be like a feud? Like it's like it has to be compared to something else.
It can be. It can be annoying.
You know what? Okay, Road Dogg tried to get a job with AEW.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you want to say he begged for a job, but
he sort
tried
of did.
to get a job.
He tried. Yeah, you know what? People want work, and sometimes it's not as easy to get work in the wrestling business. So, you have to do what you have to do. But I knew he was when Triple H got back in charge there. I had a feeling that Road Dogg would have a job, and then this Jeff Jarrett news comes out that he departed, and now Road Dogg is in his spot, and I'm not surprised. Triple H is going to surround himself with people he can trust, and he knows he can trust Road Dogg, just like he knows he can trust Shawn with NXT, and so I don't have a problem with it.
You know what I'm thinking? Maybe because Triple H doesn't seem like the Vince type to where like he's gonna come in and clean house of all of Vince's people and bring his own. That's what Vince did with NXT. I don't see Triple H doing that with the backstage stuff.
Hey, Bruce is still there.
Exactly. So
Kevin Dunn's still there.
Maybe, the match that Jeff Jarrett did with Ric Flair, maybe he just wants to wrestle again. And maybe he won't be able to do both. Maybe he wants to get back in the ring, and it's not a firing or like, hey, you're not really doing like live attendance is down. It could be that.
Maybe they didn't give a reason yet. No one reported on it why he's leaving or why he left. So I'm sure that'll come out sooner rather than later. But I think it's just Triple H wants his people in there, and I don't think necessarily Jeff Jarrett is like in Triple H's circle.
I could see that. I don't think he is either. I just hope that this doesn't ruin the scheduled action figure that Jarrett was supposed to get. He was supposed to get an old school.
It shouldn't.
Like Double J with the hat that lit up. I hope it doesn't shouldn't. Because that would be a cool one to get. Yeah,
it shouldn't. I think. I haven't heard anything, but they probably left on good terms, unless something comes out that said they didn't. But yeah, I like Road Dogg being back. I'm not against it like some people are.
Yeah,
Triple H is going to bring in people in. I don't know why people are so surprised at that.
Everyone does that, which like in any job,
Mm-hmm.
Football coaches do it. Baseball managers do it. What's the difference
right.
with this? What? Because you don't like Road Dogg because he he's begging for a job on Twitter, as people could say. Or maybe it's just that he calls out shit that is shit and he goes, this isn't good. And it just happens to be AEW stuff. So maybe that's why. Maybe that's why he never got the job. But it just,
I have no idea.
You know what? Sean.
He comes from Road Dogg comes from a good wrestling family. Armstrong family's a good wrestling family. So the outrage from some people is a little ridiculous.
It's outrage to be outraged. There's really no reason to.
It's some people just will complain about anything, and this is one of those things. I mean, he's in charge of live events. It's not like they put him in charge of talent relations.
Yeah, exactly.
That, Triple H is number one. Triple H is in charge of that. So, he got the live events job. He try and promote. Bring people in. Get the live event attendance up. That's all. Yeah, it's his job. What?
If you think about it, the live events is where everybody really gets over.
Yeah, and
because I've been to a bunch of live events back in like 05.
Me too.
06, and they tested the waters with a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you get over, and hopefully it's something that Road Dogg could excel at, and that's the thing too. Why would you want him to do bad? In a way,
I don't know if people want him to do bad. I don't know if people want him to do bad. It's just necessarily they didn't want him to bring Bro back. At least with some people. Some people I see, they don't have anything bad to say about it. But then some people I see are saying why are they bringing him back? But who, it's a live event position, so it's not like you're in. Like I said, it's not like you're calling all the shots. So
yeah, it's house events. So it's really just, it's more, I guess, that he's in Triple H's inner circle.
Yeah.
But that's what you would want. You want a guy like that. Honestly, maybe he could help out with promos because he wasn't a bad promo.
He was a good promo.
Yeah,
he was a very good promo. He was, New Age Outlaws were an entertaining group, tag team.
My favorite tag team of all time.
They're in my top 5. They'd be in my top 5.
Yeah,
but I don't see anything wrong with it. But something I do see a good segue here. Something that is wrong and ain't right would be the whole Punk and Adam Page situation. That's something that ain't right.
You know what? It makes sense. It makes perfect sense because Punk is gonna punk.
Yeah.
That's it. And listen, regardless of the fact, if we're being worked and this is like a whole
I don't think so.
Big thing, which I don't think so either. Because like you just said, Punk just had a t-shirt released today. So people are like, oh yeah, he wouldn't threaten to walk out last week if he's getting a new t-shirt. There's so much to unpack with this. And I just feel like everything is like all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
You hear the report that Punk almost no-showed, which would have been fucking ironic after the bullshit that he said for one of his Comic-Con appearances to where, they buried Naomi and Sasha, but they didn't do it to Brock.
Right.
So you're going to, touch on, walking out and how it should be handled when, granted, he showed up, but it shouldn't even be a report that he didn't almost come because it makes you look like a dick. It makes you look it makes you look like the way a lot of people perceive you for the past 8 years.
Yeah, Punk, I'll say this about Punk. Punk is a great performer. He's good in the ring. He does bring in viewership for AEW. He does bring in good business for AEW, but backstage, he's a problem. And you know, Punk is only happy when he's at top. When he's on top of the card, he's the main attraction. And it's floating around on Twitter right now, but that promo that Triple H did on SmackDown
That's what I
is
want to talk about.
It's ringing very true today. And you listen to it and it's like, wow, you know what? He did not tell any lies, Triple H did. And maybe some of that was true what he said in the ring. Maybe it was a promo, it was storyline, but some of it might have been a little true. And now we're finding out it might be true.
I think the best promos have truth in it, and depending on who the guys are, like you could be like, "Hey, listen, can I say this? Is this off limits?" I doubt that conversation happened at the time when Triple H and Punk were going through that program.
No.
So, like, it definitely felt real. It definitely felt like a jab. And, who would know better than anyone else but the guy who's backstage, the guy who is part of the backstage people.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, even though, that whole storyline was more of like a Punk versus the Authority, I 100% agree that what Triple H said is how Punk really is, to where if it's not about him, he doesn't care. And
yeah,
true. I just thought of it this way. If AEW wasn't a brand new company, Punk probably doesn't come back. Because there was
maybe not.
TNA, there was Ring of Honor. None of those.
Yeah, he wasn't going, but he wasn't going there.
No, so
with the Fox, he had that Fox Sports gig, and I know they say, oh, had nothing to do with WWE. He wasn't signed to WWE, but I got the feeling that was going to sneak him back in, and then AEW came around, and then that's when it all changed.
I was shocked when he came to Fox, even though that Backstage show wasn't like a WWE show. It was still about wrestling, and you're still talking about the company that you walked out on.
Right.
He walked out on the company. So even another reason why he really shouldn't be throwing stones or saying anything about other people walking out. And regardless of the situation, he still walked out on the company.
Right.
So it's almost like, he comes back 8 years later, and I think the anniversary was the other day of his 1 year anniversary. It was sometime last week, and he posted on Instagram, pictures of the arena in Chicago. I don't remember the name, but then he started talking about everything. Then he went into that Nick Castellanos meme, to where it goes, that. And there's so the thing is, Punk is a massive troll. He's a troll.
Oh, of course.
And the whole thing where he was interviewed like a couple of years after he left, he's like, I am never, ever, ever coming back. And like they dubbed that with the Taylor Swift song, Never Ever Getting Back Together. So like, it's just, for me, Punk just wants all the attention on him, and whether it's bad or good, because then he could spin it any way he wants.
I'll give him this. He is the biggest star in that company. But,
is that saying
don't have
much?
An ego about it. Don't have an ego about it, and that's his problem. With the whole Adam Page stuff. He's going into business for himself, and that's a no in wrestling. I'll give Punk this. Adam Page did do it first. If you go look back at the promo that he did during their little rivalry, he kind of went a little off the script. So Punk, maybe sending him a receipt, but
What
you
did he
still
say? What did he say?
who Page?
Yeah.
It was the promo about I'm saving AEW from you. Remember that promo?
Okay, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was, and there was more said in that. I forgot all the lines that were said, but that was the main thing. I was, I'm trying to save AEW from you because nobody wants you here, or something like that. And there was more said, but so Punk may be sending him a receipt, but at the same time, you just buried Adam Page 10 feet under. Like,
You know what?
Can Adam Page ever be a main eventer ever again after that?
Listen, after his last world title run, I don't think he could have been a main eventer again.
No, I agree with
But
that.
after what Punk, what's funny? I hate that I'm skipping all over, but it's just there's so much to talk about with Punk. I wasn't watching Dynamite on Wednesday. I was doing something else. I forgot. Maybe I don't know. But I saw on Twitter that Punk opened the show and
Right.
that he had a sick line against against Mox
Moxley.
to go
Him
where
and Moxley going back and forth was great. That was the best part of the show.
It was. And that's the only reason why I watched, because I wanted to hear what Punk was saying, how he goes, Mox is the third best member of his group, and that seems to be a thing.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Great. I didn't even realize the burial of Adam Page. I didn't even realize that he called him out. I didn't realize that wasn't supposed to happen. I just wasn't focused on that because I was looking for what I knew what was happening. And it's classic CM Punk. It is.
Yeah.
Because you know what?
I'm not surprised by any of it. I'm not surprised by any of this news. This is Punk. And, no one really should be surprised. I wasn't.
There's a way to get a receipt back. I was watching the Untold story between Randy Orton and Undertaker, their feud, and there was one match where Randy bashed Taker a little too hard, and the lip of the chair cracked Taker open. And Orton, after the match, Orton's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." He's like, "It's all right, boy." He goes, "You'll be getting yours."
Yeah,
that's later,
the old way of doing it.
But he did it 4 months later the same way. They had a match. It wasn't like Taker was talking about Brock and then called out Randy, and Randy didn't come out because he's like, "Hey, I'm not supposed to," and buried him that way. Punk could have got his receipt back a different way. He could have did it within the match. He could have continued the promo, while they were going through their feud.
I guess it's because it was words. Adam Page did a promo where he kind of went off script,
but they were in a program together,
Oh yeah, no, I get that.
I
wouldn't have, if I was Punk, I wouldn't have done it. I would have done it in a different way, or
exactly.
I would have, maybe said he's supposed to be the locker room leader. Why don't you go back in the locker room and talk to him that way, or say, "Hey, that wasn't cool. The receipt's coming, but look out for it." It wasn't a good thing to do because you just buried Adam Page, and he was already buried with that terrible title run.
I think that, what Mox said in his promo, that Punk is only back because he ran out of money.
That's partially true. What was he doing?
Yeah.
He was, he had a failed UFC career. He made comic books and Marvel, and that didn't really work.
He was in a couple of TV shows.
And a couple of TV shows that maybe nobody watched. So what else did he have left? You know what I mean? He kind of had to go back.
And I think it shows that it's just about the money for what I was saying in a
It's
previous
about the
show
money
that
for a lot of guys.
well, oh yeah, obviously. I mean, but with his promos and how unhappy that he always said that he was in WWE,
Right.
it made it seem like it wasn't about the money and that that company took his passion away. And now that he's in AEW again and that his passion's reignited and like he's ready to help the young guys, he hasn't helped one young guy yet. And if you really want to
Really
help the
hasn't.
company, you should have been with that title while you were hurt making your appearances. You should have been out with it. You're gonna cut a promo in the ring saying that how um you know you don't like the word interim. No one likes the word interim. So you should be out there with your championship saying that you're the real champion.
Hmm.
I get it's, whatever, but like it's just if you're going to commit to something, commit to it. If you're there just for the money, then you know what? You don't really need to be the main focus of the show. You don't need to be the world champion. There's talks about him walking out or that he wasn't going to show. And now there's talks that he might quit. Listen, I the promo that they had Mox and Punk on Wednesday and the little brawl for me wasn't enough to move what JR, Taz, and everyone else is calling the biggest match in the AEW history from
Ridiculous.
your biggest pay-per-view to Dynamite this Wednesday, free TV. Why are they doing Goldberg Hogan in the Georgia Dome on TV for free? It doesn't make
Oh, well,
sense.
number one, I wouldn't even compare it to that because Hogan and Goldberg were actually megastars.
No, right,
Um,
but you wouldn't say that that was probably one of
that's
WCW's
hot
biggest
shotting.
matches.
Tony Khan is hot shotting is what he's doing, and
He's
you
nervous.
know, I think it didn't make any sense. I was doing coverage for it. Obviously, I do coverage for Dynamite every week, and it was just casual. It almost felt like it was just casually mentioned at the end of the show, like before Omega
Mhm.
came back. They were kind of like, "Oh, and we're gonna breaking news. We're gonna have the Punk and Mox match next week for the titles." And okay, now it's the time for the main event. I was like, "What? Like what? Wait a minute, what?" I was so confused. I don't get it. It's hot shotting. That's what it is. And people are saying, well, maybe MJF will come back and he'll get inserted into the match at All Out. I don't know if you're doing all that for that. That doesn't even make
It
sense.
it doesn't make sense because I get you didn't know how long Punk would be out for, which is why you did the whole interim thing. But the fact that Punk wanted to give the belt up, now that talking about it out loud, the fact that Punk wanted to give the belt up makes sense why he didn't carry it around with him while he was hurt.
Right.
And then it just it's hot shot and it just doesn't make any sense. Even if the match ends in a no, even the match ends in a DQ because MJF comes out. Why? Why are you doing this on Dynamite? None
I
of it makes sense to me.
None of it makes sense.
And I feel
They
like
want to
the
get
only
over a
reason
million. They want to get over a million viewers, and this is the way you can
I
do it because even with Omega and Punk being on last week, they did not get over an average of a million viewers.
I also
And
think
that's a problem.
Omega coming back. Excuse me, Omega coming back is a knee jerk reaction.
Could be. Could be. He didn't look 100%. I don't know if he's working us or not, but he didn't look 100%. I'm happy he's back. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest Omega fan in the world. I'm not, but he's good for their business. He's good for their company. He's good for what they do. So I'm happy he's back. I just think they booked it horribly. You
The-
bring Omega back after a year and put him in this trios thing with the Bucks, and nobody really, no one really, not a lot of people want these trios titles.
there's not enough TV time for
No,
all these titles.
there's not enough TV time for anybody in that locker room right now. You know how many people are back there just sitting and catering?
It's terrible. But you want to know what we do have time for?
What do we have time for?
I have to find. I think this might be the commercial one.
Commercial break.
Commercial break. Let's see. Let's see if I can play the right video.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan McCarthy, and I'm the host of No Credentials Required. Now, I know there are a lot of podcasts out there that make you want to do this. Or
That's what I want to do right now. Thank you, Ryan. And now I know what NCR is. NCR Belly Up TV commercial. That's No Credentials Required. Little cheap plug for Ryan. I don't have the commercial here. So for our viewers, hold on 1 second. We'll be right back. And we're back. All
Just
right.
like that.
Just like that. So yeah, there's just so much happening, and I feel like AEW has the necessary players to be taken seriously. But, you know, Kenny Omega, who he was at one point the Impact champion, the AEW champion, Triple A, like this guy was decked in gold.
Yep.
And then you have him come back in a scuba outfit.
I didn't understand what he was wearing. He was wearing like the compression shirt, and then he had a brace on his shoulder, but then he took it off.
He came back too early.
Maybe he did. He didn't look 100% in there. Like I said, I don't know. You know, with Omega, you don't know if he's working or not, so you can never tell. But I think he got rushed back a little. And with the booking, with title match being moved to Dynamite next week, maybe Tony might be cracking up a little bit.
It's unfortunate.
I think he's overwhelmed. He's becoming overwhelmed. He has too much talent now. He doesn't know what to do with all of them. He sees WWE and Triple H gaining all the momentum, and now he has problems with, you know, the top stars in AEW. He has problems with Punk and Page. He's got a lot to worry about. He has the TV deals that are coming up that he has to renegotiate in a few months, and people are trying to say, oh, they're going to cancel them. They're not canceling AEW. Number one, why would you want that? Why would you want them to cancel AEW? That wouldn't be a good thing for wrestling. So
I didn't even hear that.
People. Yeah, people on Twitter, you know, the Twitter trolls that just want, you know, everything. Oh, I hope AEW gets canceled. Oh, come on, guys. Like, really? AEW being around is good for wrestling, even though they have, you know, not great booking. But, you know, they'll get these TV deals done. But with the decreasing viewership, that, you know, might be a little harder for Tony, but he'll get it done.
I agree that AEW is good for wrestling. AEW is better for WWE, and WWE is better for AEW.
Yeah.
And listen, I don't know everyone in AEW. You know, I don't follow a lot of the indies or the smaller promotions. So like a lot of these guys that came in, I don't really know.
Well, that's a problem for a lot of people.
But what gets me to watch are guys I do know, whether I like them or not, like the Bucks, Punk, Mox, Adam Cole. But like I just want to see them used the right way.
That's what everybody wants.
It's frustrating because you had everyone in WWE like, oh, Adam Cole's going to be Keith Lee's manager. Okay, he may be hurt, but he's pretty much the manager for Red Dragon right now. He was the manager
They're not even
for
on
the
television.
Bucks.
They turned on the Bucks and then they disappeared.
Yeah.
Where is Cole? I know they're all hurt.
See,
but like you can't just have them show up on television or do a video package in the back or a promo or something. That's why I don't understand. It's just like there's people just sitting back there doing nothing.
if I had the pencil, this is how I would have booked the breakup of the Undisputed Elite. Obviously, they're all hurt, minus Bobby Fish and the Young Bucks. So you have this unnecessary trios tournament. You have the Bucks trying to figure out, hey, who should their partner be? You know, you see them ask. They ask Kyle. Kyle can't because he's hurt. You see Cole training. They ask Cole. He's like, I don't know, guys. Really might not be ready. So they don't even bother asking Fish. So already it's kind of like what already happened where they didn't ask Bobby Fish to be part of the team. And then, you know, they go ask Paige, nothing. They're starting to get nervous. They're like, oh, wow, you know, the match is tonight and we still don't have anybody. I guess we have to go at it alone. And then that's when you bring in Omega. Like for me, having the Undisputed Era turn on them and then do absolutely nothing with it seems to be a trend for AEW, but it didn't make any sense though.
No, they built this up for a year the entire time Omega was out, and that is the end result.
Yeah,
that's what you came up with. You had a year to think about how to do all this, and that's what you came up with. A turn on the Bucks that no one will remember. It was just no one. I forgot about it the week after it happened, and now Omega is just thrown into this trios. It's just I would have booked it so much differently. Have Omega be on top. I wouldn't even have Omega fooling around with the Bucks anymore. Have Omega just back in the main event scene, or at least a good storyline or something like that. You just threw him in a dead trios match.
Yeah,
nobody cared about that trios match. There's a reason why that was the lowest viewed segment of the show. If you saw the quarterly hour breakdowns of viewership, Punk had the highest. The Punk and Mox thing, that was the highest one. And the Kenny Omega return did like 800,000 viewers. Meanwhile, the Punk promo did like 1.1 million. And that there lies the problem. I don't know if people aren't that into Kenny Omega. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he's not I'll say it now. He's not a draw like Punk is. But he was gone for a year and he only did 800 something thousand on his segment.
I get it was like hinted, like it was obvious it was going to be him.
Yeah,
but you still don't want to, even if you know. It's like, oh, he's coming back to team with the Bucks for the trios titles. They're like, why? Why would I watch that? I don't care about the trios titles.
He left as on top of the world, and then he comes back and he's with the Bucks and with this trios title stuff. And I could see this trios title stuff just being a way that the Elite can have some belts. That's all I see. Oh, we can, we can have more belts around our waist, or the EVPs. I don't know. I don't hate Omega and the Bucks. What they do, I understand why some people like them. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of theirs, but I get what they do. Their style of wrestling might not be my favorite, but I'll still watch. I'm not going to turn the channel because they're on.
No,
but
yeah.
they're not. I wouldn't put them in, people I'm looking forward to seeing. You know what, Omega, I'll say I look forward to seeing him sometimes if he's booked the right way. So, they're good for AEW. Matt. Uh-oh. I think we lost Matt. Alrighty then. Well, like I was saying, uh-oh, Matt lost power. That ain't good. He said he'll be right back. Okay. Well, I'll continue what I was saying. And we'll bring this back to CM Punk for a little while. If anybody notices, Punk he hasn't been doing much with the Young Bucks, and he hasn't been doing much with Omega since he has been there. So, that kind of brings the backstage problems to light again, because, why are they not doing anything together? They haven't even been in a segment together, I don't think, unless anybody else knows. So we'll see. We'll see what if they do some business together. I know some people like to see them do some business together, so we shall see what happens with that. While Matt's gone, we can do a little Clash at the Castle preview. Let me just pull up the card here. Obviously, the main event will be Roman and Drew McIntyre, which should be great. We got Ladarius. Ladarius, I would put your comment on the screen, Ladarius, but Matt is in charge of that, and I can't do that. But Ladarius says, I think you're right, Sal. I cannot recall them in a segment together. Yeah, I don't remember Punk and the Elite or anybody, in that circle other than Adam Page being on television together. And it's kind of curious, why haven't they been in a segment together? Why haven't they, done anything? And that throws some questions out there. Do they get along? And maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. I think the Elite, they started this. They started AEW, so I guess they figured they should be at the top. And Punk being at the top maybe ruffles some feathers. So that could be the case. But that's something that Tony Khan needs to step in and change. You have to bring in your top guys and say, hey, what's going on here? Let's smooth things out. And Tony Khan's got to act like a boss, and this is the time where you really need to act like a boss instead of a fan. And, so far he hasn't done that. And now things are starting to come to surface, and it's a problem. It's a problem. Okay. So Clash at the Castle, and Matt's back.
And
Thankfully.
I'm back! Oh. I just want to say a really big fuck you to Verizon, because holy shit, does your bullshit router take fucking way too long to reboot. Literally, the power flickered on and off. Like, first of all, it's not even raining that hard in New York, so I don't even know why that even happened.
I'm
Second
getting
of all,
thunder here.
I thought like the Undertaker was coming in, and then all of a sudden, holy shit! I'm like, what? Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm back.
I made my solo podcasting debut today, and I did pretty good at it. But shout out to Ladarius. Ladarius commented at the right time.
There you go. Ladarius knew.
Ladarius must have known I needed something to talk about.
Oh my!
But I talked about how Punk and the Elite haven't done anything on television yet together, and is that a sign that those two camps aren't getting along?
Oh wow! I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, they have not done as far as I know, unless somebody else says something different. I haven't seen them on television together.
Wow! And is that something you really want to like wait for? It's like
I was saying, I said Tony Khan needs to, if there's problems there, needs to step, act like a boss instead of a fan.
Exactly. I think that's his main problem, is that's what he's doing, and you got to be the boss. You got to step in. You sign their checks. Stop. Giving them hugs and take this shit seriously.
Tony the Hugger Khan.
Yeah, I mean, hold on a second. Let me see if I get this playing, because I'm gonna probably do my best to tweet this out at least once a week.
That was the MJF thing.
Yeah. Okay. Do I have no volume on here? It's just all around bullshit technical difficulties today. Whatever. Anyway, I think that you're right, Sal. TK needs to step his shit up and just, you're either going to do things my way or you're going to play for the Jags. So it's like, you're going to do something.
You know what Tony Khan reminds me? It reminds me of? He reminds me of that GIF of the little kid on the swing, and there's just like that big fire in the background, and the kids just keep swinging with the fire burning in the background.
Yep.
That's what Tony Khan reminds me of. He reminds me of the kid on the swing, just having fun and not caring about anything else that's going on. He doesn't care that there's backstage problems. Like at some point you have to. I'm sure he cares, but okay, but then do something about it.
Agreed. Something needs to be done, and I don't see any positive outcomes coming from moving the title match from All Out to Wednesday night, and I believe that was done to appease Punk.
I just think it was hot-shotting. I just think,
part of me thinks that, because you know what? Because you have all this news coming out. He buried Paige, went into business for himself. He almost walked out. He's threatening to quit. And then randomly, 10 minutes before the show ends, when you have Omega coming back to a Crickets, you announce that the world title match is this Wednesday.
Made no sense.
It's.
I mean, even if they bring MJF back, to which there are rumors of MJF. Wow, you hear that?
Yeah.
Hear that thunder?
Yeah.
If I might be next.
Might have to tag Ladarius in on this thing pretty soon.
Yeah, bring in Ladarius. Where was I going with this? Oh, MJF. Yeah. MJF, even if he comes back next week and costs someone the match, or why would he want to be inserted into the AEW title picture after that promo that he did, saying he didn't want to be in the company anymore, he wanted Tony to fire him? Why would you want to compete for their world title?
I don't think MJF is coming back. My opinion.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
It's
eventually, maybe, but not now.
What sense would it make to where, like, storyline wise, like you're saying, like, what would it be? What would it be storyline wise that it just doesn't? I don't see it. MJF will be in the WWE before or after his contract ends, and I would be shocked if he made another appearance in AEW. It just doesn't make sense. Everyone forgot it. Dude, no one watched Omega's return. You think people remember MJF's promo? Other than the fucking Mark comment that's been making its way around Twitter, no one. What else did he? Wow,
That's loud.
That is some WCW thunder right there. That's crazy. Wait, let me see. Ladarius says that Tony Khan has to separate himself as a fan and be the boss, pure and simple. The reality is everything MJF said about Khan was right. Ladarius, no, you are right, Ladarius, because that is 100% correct. I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Everything MJF said was true. Everything in that promo.
It was. Am I getting it now? Let's see.
I'm not hearing it.
Oh, I know why. You know why? Because communication is key to a healthy relationship.
Very true.
Disconnect. Now, there we go. You
There
know what
he
the
is.
problem was? You know what the problem was? The headphones I wore last week, Boyce, I got them for the wife for a anniversary gift, and they're noise canceling. So she's probably been hearing MJF scream, "You fucking Mark."
Yeah.
I'm like, why isn't this working? And she hasn't said anything to me. So
she's probably saying, "Who's Mark?"
Yeah, right. There we go.
I miss MJF. I do.
Honestly, so do I. I miss MJF too, and hopefully he makes his return soon, or rather than later. And I'm not sure if it's me that's messed up or Sal, but Sal's not moving. Want to say I'm still connected. So it looks like WCW Thunder hit Sal too, and now looks like I'm running this show a little solo. It's unfortunate that Sal just lost power too. This is crazy. All right. AEW Dynamite this Wednesday, their biggest title match in company history. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think the match happens? Do you think there's a definitive winner? Are we going to have are we going to have a no contest, and then they have the match, at All Out? A lot's going to happen. You let me know how you think it's going to take place. And Ladarius, WCW has gotten Sal got. That Thunder got him. Okay. I'm going to take a real quick commercial break, and I will be right back. And I'm back. All right. Thank you all for staying. Thank you all for joining. I have an update from Sal. His router's restarted. Okay, so he'll be back soon. And do me a favor and join our boy Sal on Twitter tonight. Let me look for his banner so I could drop that down for him. Sal's going to be live tweeting Monday Night Raw at Rasslin Inc. on Twitter tonight. They also break some interesting news of the happenings in AEW and WWE. So make sure you give Sal some love tonight and follow him along while you watch Monday Night Raw. And speak of the devil.
My goodness.
Boom.
It went black.
It's crazy. I was just letting everybody know to take care of you and give you some love tonight while you watch Raw.
I hope I have a television to watch.
Shit, I know. It's crazy.
I might have to call out tonight if I don't got. my TVs are good, I think. So we shall see.
I think the weather's supposed to subside around. There's still some time. It's only 5:55.
I
That
know.
is crazy. I love doing the show a little earlier.
Yeah,
I get to eat dinner at a normal time. The wife
there we
isn't
go.
upset.
Perfect.
And
Hopefully I won't lose power again.
but you know what you should do if you lose power? Well, you got to make sure you do this before you lose power, but you should have this in case you do. And what is that, you ask? That is Canadips. That's right. The OG CBD dip pouch. Make sure you go to CanadipsCBD.com, use promo code Rasslin20, and you could save on your first order, your second order, your third order, and keep on going. Make sure you do that, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Unlike some people were disappointed with the hiring of Road Dogg, like we talked about earlier. And it's funny because I've been watching old Attitude Era stuff. I started early in the year because Nick was going through it. He was watching it and he would talk to me about it. Then I'm like, damn. I'm like, A, come on the fucking show. That's number one. I'm like, B, I'm like, let's do a review or we'll go back and we'll do some live watches of, some Attitude Era stuff. He goes, oh, I'm busy. I'm like, yeah, I know. So I started watching it.
Have him watch a Ric Flair match.
Oh, that's his favorite. That's his favorite. We should definitely have
go.
Nick watch a Ric Flair match, and I have his banner here too. Nick thinks Ric Flair's the GOAT.
But if you really want to torture him, just have him watch his last match that he just had.
That's terrible.
That might torture some other people too. It might torture me.
That's bad. I think Flair knocked himself out twice and
he said he was out cold a few times.
That's crazy. I'm glad I didn't watch that because I would have wished I was knocked out cold too. But yeah, I was watching the older stuff and I love Jeff Jarrett in the early 90s. He was he just lost the hair versus hair match with X-Pac, which all he did was, he cut it. But him and Southern Justice, I thought was great. Southern Justice was extremely, extremely underrated. They were good for what they were. And Jarrett with a stable worked back then.
Yeah, I liked him with Owen.
Oh, that was...
That's where I enjoyed Jeff more. Him and Owen. It was just the perfect
Deborah.
it was just the perfect team. And then you had Deborah walking out there, and of course everybody goes crazy for her.
Absolutely.
That's when I liked him the most. Oh, Ladarius again.
This is going back to the AEW. Sal, when I was running solo, I asked everybody what they think the outcome of Wednesday's title match would be.
Right.
Now, would there be some shenanigans, clean finish, no contest? And, if you're going to hype this matchup to be the biggest in the whole company, I think you shouldn't have any shenanigans going on.
You would think.
It has to be a clean finish, in my opinion.
I could also see them doing a tie. They run out of they run out of time.
That would be such a waste because they've done that so many. But see, here's the thing though. They did that with Omega and Bryan. That worked because Omega's a champion. Bryan just came in. You can't really afford either of them to lose. So that's where that works. And this intern bullshit, you did this to yourself.
Yeah, you did this to yourself. I didn't like it. I don't like this interim stuff to start off with. Even they did it with the TNT title when Cody was out sick for 2 weeks.
Yeah. And then Sammy kept on wearing both belts, walking around with both belts.
It
That
makes
was
no
cool,
sense.
but it didn't
just-
make any sense though.
It made no sense. Cody was out for 2 weeks. You couldn't just keep the belt off for 2 weeks. You had to have an interim champion right away.
The title's
Where's
been
Wardlow
off.
been?
Yeah, right.
What about Wardlow?
Exactly.
Wardlow never defends the title. And even at All Out, he's going to be in a 6-man tag. He's not even going to be defending the TNT title. What a bad job that whole Wardlow thing with Tony. Tony has done him such a disservice.
It's upsetting because you have maybe these guys are right. Maybe Bischoff is right. Maybe Cornette. Maybe all these guys are right to some point. And, these AEW, and I say these AEW because I honestly feel that these type of fans aren't real wrestling fans. Because it's
the tribalistic ones aren't.
Yeah, it's like just the tunnel vision is like straight on. You don't see any. It's almost like Stockholm syndrome, to where it's like you're in an abusive relationship and like you don't see it. It's like they're not doing right by their fans. Athena, aka Ember Moon,
Oh, that's horrible.
has been signed. I saw this on Twitter for 80 days.
One match.
Here's the thing. What's the point? He's doing everything that Vince McMahon was doing.
Yep.
Everybody's like, oh, he's hoarded.
He's doing it worse. He really is doing it worse. I look. Tony Khan thinks people are going to go watch AEW Dark and Elevation on YouTube. Nobody's going to watch those shows. Nobody. I don't think I've ever watched it. I don't think I've ever watched Dark or YouTube shows. I've never watched them. Nobody has enough time in the day to watch all of that wrestling. Sorry, they don't.
Listen, I agree. They don't. And who the hell?
And who would want to watch it?
Who wants to watch wrestling on their phone or like on the computer?
Nobody.
When it comes to YouTube? I want to watch it on my TV.
Right.
So I could do bullshit on my phone. I doubt not everyone, pays for, YouTube Premium to where they could close out the app and still listen to what they're watching or, do other, it just.
Oh, you can't do that? I can do that now. I don't have YouTube Premium.
Really? You could?
Yeah, I could go like on Twitter.
Oh,
watch.
Shit. I'm going to have to check that out then. And, it's been but see, here's the thing. That's how long it's been since I've done that, because I don't really watch, I don't really watch YouTube like that or on my phone anyway, because, there's
must be a new update.
Probably either that or I'm going to get buried. Everybody goes, oh, what? You don't know how to use YouTube? But enough of AEW and their bullshit.
Please.
I think everything will be clearer come Wednesday.
I think
the outcome
too.
of the match.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna have to watch it because the way this match plays out, to me, I feel like determines the direction of the company in a way.
Agreed.
So we will see. But speaking of directions, I feel like WWE is doing nothing but moving on up since Triple H took over.
Yeah. He's done a great job.
They're in Toronto tonight, Canada.
Canada has the best crowds. Montreal for SmackDown was fantastic.
Canada does have always the best crowds. And speaking of Canadians and speaking of the best, you know who's coming back tonight?
That's right.
Ooh, Stratify me, baby. Trish Stratus. Oh.
It's always nice to see Trish.
Stratus faction.
Bring Lita back while you're at it.
Dude, I saw some news that I think there's going to be a change to the tag team brackets again, because I know Raw is in Canada tonight, and I don't think someone's vaccinated to where they could be in Canada from.
I think that was SmackDown.
I heard that there was another change too.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I heard the only one I heard of was bringing in Toxic Attraction.
Who should have been in the
Zoe and
tournament?
Nikita.
They should have been in the tournament to begin with.
Agreed. I don't know
Toxic Attraction.
why. I'm not sure why they weren't in it and Nikita and Zoe were. It makes much sense.
It didn't make sense. But like, I think I would see. It's hard because they're not real teams. They're not real teams in this tag team tournament thing. So it's like, Toxic Attraction.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's not like they had teams to start with, so they have to
Right.
kind of just make some teams up because they didn't have a lot to begin with because of Vince and the way he booked it. So you kind of have to start from scratch.
Honestly, yeah, you pretty much do. I still think Sasha and Naomi confront the winners, and they hold up their tag titles, and the winners hold up theirs, because out of the blue, listen, I get Triple H is back and he, wants to fix things, but I think it's just a little too much of a coincidence to where they bring back the tournament, and now there's rumors that they might be returning. So that could be interesting.
Yeah, those reports came out a few weeks ago now that they were coming back. So I don't think it's a matter of if they're coming back. I think it's a matter of when.
Yeah,
and I think we all have an idea of when, but we're not sure.
See, I want more from Trish, because Trish even said that she wants to, do a couple of things. So, like, maybe, you have, I guess, Damage Control, or Control is the name of Bayley's group. I think it lines up that you have Bayley and Dakota Kai win tonight against Alexa and Asuka. And I wouldn't mind seeing them versus Toxic Attraction, because
that'd probably be the final.
You could do two heels like that. You could definitely do those two heel groups.
You have to have a heel win if you're to bring Sasha and Naomi out.
Are they the faces though?
Sasha and Naomi, when they come back, they'll be the faces. Yeah,
I mean, they'll get a reaction. But should they be faces though? See, I think
maybe somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle. The fans are going to cheer for them no matter what.
Yeah,
but they'll probably act like heels. It'll sort of be like a CM Punk thing almost. Like Punk wasn't a full-fledged babyface like a Hogan was or Cena was, but he still was a babyface. It might be like that.
I think with how good Sasha is on the mic, they could do a thing to where they come out, the crowd's cheering, and then it's like, they're like all clapping, all happy, and then, Sasha be like, "Oh, now you want to cheer?" They're like,
right.
If you were doing this before, we wouldn't have had to have made a statement that we did and walk out of the company with our tag titles.
Right.
If you fans stop chanting what and puppies or whatever during women's matches, we wouldn't have had to make the statement that we did. Then they could do some shit like, we didn't do this for you people. We did this for us.
They could go in a lot of different directions, and I'm not sure which one they go down. I'm not sure which one they go down. I think no matter what they do, they're going to get cheered.
Totally.
Just just because how can you boo them after that? Oh, Ladarius.
Yeah.
What does Ladarius say here? I can see either Io and Dakota or Toxic Attraction winning the tournament with Sasha. Yep, that's how I feel too, Ladarius. I would agree with that. I see that being a possibility. Because I mean, if you don't bring them back then when are you bringing them back?
Agreed. It would be cool if you get like a legend team to come back. I don't mean the Bellas. I don't want the Bellas. I want Trish and Lita, and maybe Trish being there tonight in Canada. I feel like there was some sort of Twitter altercation between Bayley and Trish. And I
think they did something at a live event too in Canada.
Yeah. Capitalize on it, set something up, and it doesn't have to be right now. But if these tag titles are going to be your future, if you're going to start respecting them more, then I feel like you definitely need credible teams. And while Trish and Lita were never like an official team, it's
They go
fucking
hand in
Trish
hand.
Stratus and Lita. Absolutely.
They were synonymous with each other. It almost felt like back in the day, Trish and Lita were like Austin and Rock of the women's division. It felt like that. It felt like they were the Austin and Rock of the women's division back in the day. And, those two, that you put them right in the Mount Rushmore of WWE women's wrestling. I would put them, those two go right on it.
Who all right, who else would you? I never actually thought of this question. Like when it comes
to
women wrestlers.
You'd have to put Trish and Lita.
Okay. Who else?
Charlotte.
And then
Becky.
See,
that would be mine.
I almost don't want to have Charlotte in mine for the same reason why Flair's not in mine. All right, 21 times you were champion. I think that's the real number, but WWE only acknowledges 16.
I believe so, yeah.
Charlotte's better in the ring than I think her father is. I think Charlotte's the better athlete. Yeah.
Yeah, she's more athletic.
But I can't. You know what? I would take out Charlotte and put Chyna. Because if Chyna was not only, the first woman in the Royal Rumble, she was the first woman to be IC champion, only woman to be IC champion. She is the only woman to be number one contender for the WWF championship. And if anyone, and listen, and we all know in Chyna's later part of her career, she got mounted a lot. So putting her on Mount Rushmore just makes the perfect sense.
God. Jesus. Oh my goodness. No, I like Chyna. I don't know. In today's day and age, with taking women's wrestling more seriously, it's hard to put her there.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't great in the ring. She's very popular. She's an iconic character. But I don't know if, when it comes to women's wrestling, I don't know if I'd put her there. I don't know. Like, she wasn't a better wrestler than anybody on the four people that we just mentioned, or I just mentioned.
Yeah.
I wouldn't but popularity wise, I understand.
I think that's why this top 4, top 5, top 10.
It's annoying.
It's so hard.
It's so hard because Sasha should be on that list.
Yeah.
Maybe Mae Young or somebody like that. You probably put her there.
Yeah.
Sherry Martel. You could put her there.
Elizabeth, the first lady of wrestling.
She was more of a ballet.
So, but that's the thing though. Like a lot of women were like managers and stuff. So then it's like, what would qualify for like the top women in wrestling?
A
Because
good,
Sable too. I mean, Sable,
oh,
Sunny.
yeah. Yeah. Well,
Like
see,
there's so many.
they fall into the China category where they were very popular, but horrible workers.
So even though China was a multi-time champion, would you say she is more known for her presence and
Her
being a
presence,
manager than a wrestler?
her presence and being a manager, being a member of DX.
Yeah,
That's what I remember her for. Her wrestling, not at all.
I could agree with that.
If you go and look back at the match she had with Ivory at what was it, WrestleMania 17? It was horrible.
Yeah,
She just lifted her up and then just tossed her to the ground and pinned her, and that was it. It's
yeah.
over. So that's why I put China and Sable and who is it, Sunny. I put them in a different category of just Lunch Blaze. That's a
Yeah.
good one. That's a good one. Yep, she should be in the conversation.
That's a good one, Ladarius.
That is a good one. I hate when people call her Lunder Blaze. Everybody calls her Medusa. You know, WWE named her a Lunder Blaze, but she was always remembered as Medusa.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's a good one, Ladarius.
A buddy of mine, real quick to just talk about Road Dogg real quick. He just shared an article that the Road Dogg is returning to the WWE.
Right.
And he goes, DX in 1 month did what the NWO wanted to do for years. Run the show.
They tried,
Mad funny.
Hogan and Bischoff with TNA, and that was a failure. Oh God.
That was awful.
That was horrible. But yeah, DX is in charge. Back in charge.
DX are in charge, and in 2 weeks we have Triple H's second pay-per-view.
That's right.
And that's Clash at the Castle.
Mm-hmm.
4 matches so far are announced. It's Bayley, Io, and Dakota versus, which is weird, and I think it might change because it just doesn't. It doesn't really. I don't really get it, but it's those 3 versus Asuka, Alexa, and
Bianca.
I think maybe Liv winning Money in the Bank and Becky being hurt really screwed things up. I feel like it was supposed to be Becky, Asuka, and Bianca, and not Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss just feels a little out of place in a way. Like 1 week she's out with Lily, 1 week she's not. So, what would be cool if Alexa Bliss just went missing, like storyline wise? No. That was bad. Storyline wise, and that'll be a great way to like bring the Fiend back if you're gonna do that. I know you don't want the Fiend, but for me, if you're gonna bring Bray back, it's got to be that. That's like bringing Cross back without Scarlett. It just wouldn't make sense. You can't bring Bray back without the Fiend.
Yeah,
for me,
I hate it
anyway.
I'm fine with the Fiend coming back if it's booked the right way, but keep Alexa Bliss far away as far as possible. I just keep her away from it.
I don't think they're going to because of that. She still has Lily. I don't think Lily's a top merch seller on the shop.
It is apparently.
That's
why she walks around with it. Why? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's why they still have her walking around with it. That has nothing to do with her gimmick anymore. But that doll sells, so they just have her walk out with it. Yeah,
that is crazy. I would not have thought that.
Me either. But I guess some people like that doll. I don't know who, but
well, there's a bunch of weird 40-year-old men buying this fucking doll in hopes Alexa Bliss will sign it. I would not buy that doll for my child. I wouldn't.
Kind of creepy looking.
Actually, I like this, Ladarius. That would have been cool if Billy became real, but I feel like that's
Toy Story.
what Alexa's character was, like that doll in a way.
Right.
But it's a lot could still come from that. There's still a couple of weeks until the pay-per-view, 2 weeks.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
2 weeks.
That's 6 women tag match. Should be good. You know,
I think so.
as a Triple H booked match. That's just that's him that has his fingerprints all over it.
And you know it's going to get the
Should be
time that
good.
it needs. It's not going to be
Yeah, it's gonna get the
rushed
time it
because-
needs. They have Bianca Belair in there, you know, Raw Women's Champion. So it should be good. It should be a good match. I know the one I'm looking forward to, and especially after SmackDown, was Gunther and Sheamus for the IC title. That's going to be 2 bulls going at it. That's gonna be great.
I'm torn. It's like, does Sheamus become the Grand Slam champion and adds the one title that he's never had to his list?
He can't beat Gunther.
And he shouldn't, I don't think.
No, he shouldn't beat Gunther. You should have Gunther go on a Roman Reigns type of streak where he doesn't lose for like 2 years.
I like that.
Have him go on that type of streak. He's this guy's the real deal.
Okay, I want to put a pin in Gunther for 1 second, and I'll say why I don't want Gunther losing the IC title. But let's jump up to the other match that's announced, which was one we did not get at SummerSlam. And the build to it, I think, has been really good. And that's Riddle versus Seth freaking Rollins.
It's going to be a great match. This might be the match of the night or the day. It's going to be during this pay-per-view. It'll be during the day.
That is true.
It should be the best one. Doing it at SummerSlam would have been way too rushed, and I get why they did what they did with the whole injury angle thing and stuff like that. So they could build on the story a bit to make it make sense, instead of Vince just booking, here, have Riddle and Seth Rollins go wrestle. Go ahead. We don't need a story. Just have them go wrestle.
Yeah.
So,
God damn it, pal! Just do it in the ring.
Yeah, that's it. That Vince just said, "Hey, go ahead, go out there." But no, Triple H knows how to book a good story, and this should be a great match now.
And I could see. Nope, never mind. I just realized Riddle still can't challenge for the title, and then we have Karrion Kross.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of the title, the main event is Drew McIntyre, the homegrown boys returning back to the promised land. Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns. Sorry, Drew. It's Roman's world. It's Roman's island, and you're just living on it.
Think of the pop, though.
Oh,
think of the pop, Drew. That would be such a good pop. I think Cross gets involved in this somehow, some way, because he's been involved with these two since he got brought back.
Yeah.
By the way, Triple H has booked Cross perfectly. He hasn't overexposed him yet. He doesn't have to be on SmackDown every week. He can just do vignettes or, promos backstage, which has been perfect.
Agreed.
So look out for him. Look out for Theory, maybe. Some, 2 possibilities of happening.
I would be shocked. If there was a cash in. I think they're going to hold this with him for a while.
I think so too, but at some point you got to take one of the titles off him.
You do. I don't know. We talked about this before, and I mean, how I would book Theory's cash in.
I know.
And I think it's money. I'm going to say it again. Cody comes back, wins the Rumble. At this point, there's only one title on Roman. Rollins is the WWE champion. Cody wins the Rumble, challenges Rollins in the main event of WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes hits the disaster kick. He hits crossroads. He does everything. He hits a curb stomp, whatever he has to do. And he gets the pin. 1, 2, 3. Adrenaline in my soul. Boom. He's cheering. Fireworks, confetti. Bro, throw Brandy, throw Pharaoh, get his kid in the ring, have everything. Like, have him embrace this moment, and then A-Town down.
That would
and
be
then
great.
My boy, Austin Theory. Give him his first name back because Triple H has 3. Austin Theory comes back, cashes in Money in the Bank. 1, 2, 3.
That would be
youngest world champion in history.
That would be one major heat. And
oh my God, do it!
The only reason I'm a little biased when it becomes to Cody, I want to see him win that title. I'm sure it'll be at night one of WrestleMania. I will, but I want to see him walk out with it.
He'll win it. He'll be on the top rope with it. He'll come down with it, and then Austin Theory's walking to the back with it.
That would be major heat. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but I'd like to see Cody win it all and just hold it for a while. But hey, maybe it happens. Maybe it happens. But no, this Roman Drew match, I don't see Drew winning.
No.
I see Roman winning. Maybe some shenanigans with Theory or Cross. Definitely Cross. I definitely think we see him.
The Usos are going to get involved somehow.
Possibly, yeah. I'm sure there's maybe Sami Zayn. I'm sure we'll see Sami. I gotta say this about Sami Zayn. He has been unbelievable in this role. Probably some of his best work.
He's doing really good. And it's, I didn't get a chance to watch him on Broken Skull Session, but he said that
he was great.
The clips that I saw, that he runs with every opportunity he gets, and the Johnny Knoxville jackass thing knocked it out of the park. He did really good with that. That was a very entertaining match that they did. And normally you would think, well, celebrity, like this type of celebrity, it's going to be bad. That shit was funny. That was fun. And it was because of Sami. And
he made that work.
Yeah.
There's only certain things that certain people can make work. And Sami Zayn is one of those people. Kevin Owens is one of those people. They can make certain things work.
Yeah, they can. Good show today.
Yeah, a few power outages, but
yeah, crazy.
Wow.
I'm just glad it didn't mess up the feed. I'm glad it happened at separate times for us and not the same time.
I know. Both of us were solo today.
Yeah.
Me for a little while. You?
I don't like it. I need the tag team action.
Yeah.
So Raw tonight, big night, Canada.
Edge is in action.
First time in what? 12 years?
10 years. I think they said 10 years on Raw.
Crazy.
Which is hard to believe, but then I did remember, when he came back, he fought on SmackDown.
MSG SmackDown, yeah.
Yeah, and because I was confused by that. I said, I remember him wrestling during TV a few times.
Yeah.
But it was for SmackDown. So, first time in 10 years for Raw.
It's going to be good. And I have a feeling that Beth Phoenix is going to get involved.
Maybe.
And
she's backstage, reportedly.
Yeah, there's going to be some sort of thing with her and Rhea, which would be cool. Lots of different directions that they could go in, because people want to work for the game. They want to play the game.
They do, and who wouldn't right now? And especially with all that's going on in AEW, it's like
I know one person that doesn't want to play the game, and I'm going to do it for my boy because he said that I made his day with the other one. God damn it! Put the game away. No, Vince, it's game time, baby. Triple H is in charge. Raw 3 hours flies right by. And you know what? You're going to be live tweeting tonight for
I will,
Rasslin
yes.
Inc. Oh, we may have to talk because next Monday I will be in the city of Atlantic. And that's
Oh, there you
Atlantic
go.
City. And I will definitely be too intoxicated to do this show.
Yeah.
So maybe we could do a different time or we
Yeah.
could figure that out. But
We'll figure it out.
we appreciate you all joining us. Obviously, there was no wrestling trivia today, which
No.
I forgot to let Ladarius and Matt know. Sorry about that, guys. If we'll figure it out next time.
We'll figure it out.
Always appreciate you, Ladarius, interacting
Yeah,
with
shout
us.
out to Ladarius. He saved me during your power outage. He gave me a good question.
Ladarius is in the gorilla position. I love it.
There we go.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Take care. Enjoy Raw and have a great